Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. I'm doing a series of spotlights on remarkable business intermediaries and brokers from across the country. And joining me on this segment is Greg Bell. He's with Sunbelt of Naples and Fort Myers. Greg, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Mark. I really appreciate it.
Greg, tell us a little bit about your work, and specifically, who are the types of clients that you specialize in helping?
I'm a business intermediary. So basically, I help individuals out there looking to buy or sell a small business. Those that have built businesses over the years and are looking to retire and cash out. We have sellers that are serial entrepreneurs. So they build businesses, they sell them, then they jump back in again, build a new business, sell it. And then we have a lot of buyers that we work with that maybe they are a C-suite person or someone who's been working in the corporate world for many years. They want to do something on their own and either acquire a business or start a business on their own. And we help them with that process as well. So it involves a lot more than people realize if they've never done it before. So we're there to guide them through that process each step of the way. I would say out of all of the industries and sectors, I probably specialize in the services and trades, construction, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, anything like that. I seem to do more of that than probably anything else.
Speaking of the buyers, this whole series was inspired by the headlines of the Great Resignation and a lot of these C-suite folks looking to do something on their own. And one of the safest ways to do it is buying an existing business, of course. So have you found that affecting your market area? Have you seen more buyers in the market? And what has that done for sellers? Motivated anybody who's been on the fence about selling?
Yeah. Particularly in my market where I work out of, which is Southwest Florida. It's an incredible Florida as a state overall, and especially Southwest Florida has become an incredibly popular place that people want to go to and move to. So we're seeing a lot of buyers flood the market, which is coinciding with actually a very good market for sellers. There's a lot of your baby boomers that have built businesses over the years, 20, 25, 30 years, and they're all getting to that retirement age. And I think with the events of the last 2 years with the pandemic and things like that, it has made a lot of business owners and people in general look at their priorities and maybe reprioritize what's going on in their lives. So it has pushed some of your business owners into the market to sell their businesses. I think there has also been concerns over tax situations and whether those might change, and they want to make sure that they maximize the value of their business when they sell it. So that might be pushing them a little earlier into the market than what they would have been. But we're seeing, we get calls all day long, every day, people looking to come here to buy a business, like you said. A lot of it, I also think, is especially for our market in Florida, a lot of people and a lot of small business owners looked at how things were handled over the last 2 years in the state. We had very, very brief, short shutdowns for businesses. A lot of our small businesses really, compared to the rest of the country, did very well, survived very well. And I think a lot of small business owners saw that and they're more comfortable being down here and having their money invested in a small business down here versus maybe some other places in the country where they're not quite sure if they're going to be able to be open or if they're going to have this restriction or that restriction. So we've had a lot of people push that way as well. So it's been a really, I would say, especially the last 8 to 9 months, has been a really good time. It's really gotten hot down here when it comes to small businesses and basically anything.
You mentioned some of the sellers you work with are serial entrepreneurs. And then you mentioned that there are some that have been in business for just decades, like really built a strong long-term business. So it sounds like different levels of being informed and experienced in these transactions. What percentage of them are serial entrepreneurs that know what they're doing, know how to sell a business, and what percentage of them are really new to the process and kind of don't exactly know what to expect?
I would, if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd say 70% of what we do are existing business owners that have had their small business for many years, and probably 30% of what we end up selling are coming from people who are serial entrepreneurs. They like to start businesses, get them going, get them to a level where they want them at, and then turn around to sell. The biggest difference usually in those two is your sellers that have built a business over years and years. This is their one time. This is their one shot to sell their business, maximize their value, and move on. Where your serial entrepreneurs, they've been through the process usually multiple times. They know what's going on. They know, especially with their experience, what they should expect, especially out of their business broker and out of the process. And so they usually don't ask as many questions. They know what's going on. Most of their questions are focused on you and your process and how you do it. And does that line up with what they've done in the past? Things like that. Your long-term business owners that are looking to retire and sell, they have a lot more questions about what goes on when I sell my business. What does the process look like? What will I need to be prepared for? What questions should I be asking? A lot of times they don't even know what questions they should be asking. So, especially with those, I tell them, speak with me, see how our process goes and how I work things, and also talk to a couple other brokers. Find the one that matches you, matches your personality, matches what you want out of the sale of your business. And so, your serial entrepreneurs, like I said, they're just usually looking for someone who already matches what they've done in the past and what they've had success with in the past.
Let's go deeper on a few of those. I'm curious. I'd love to hear some of the questions that new sellers should be asking. Tell me some more. Like, what should they be preparing for, and how far in advance, when they decide to sell, should they start preparing?
Um, to be honest, the sooner the better. The more prepared you get before you actually sell your business, the easier it will be. Many business owners have been doing things the same way for a long time, especially when it comes to things like their accounting practices and stuff like that. They have a lot of questions about, how do you come up with a value for my business? They want to know what that process is involved. Many of your longtime business owners also have an emotional attachment to their business. So many times in the valuation process, we have to we understand that this is your baby. We understand that you've grown this and built this over, let's say, 25, 30 years. But let's put the emotions aside and let's just look at the black and white and the numbers and go through everything. They also usually ask a lot of questions about, okay, what's going to happen once someone gives me an offer on my business and I like it, I want to take it. What's the process after that? So we have to go through and explain to them, this isn't going to be like buying a car or buying a house. We're not going to close that quickly unless it's a cash deal. I would say 97% of the deals that we do are going to involve an SBA loan. Many of them, even on the sell side, they weren't getting SBA loans when they bought their business and so on and so forth. So we have to tell them what that process entails, what kind of things the bank is going to want from them to process the loan, guarantee the loan for the buyer. Many times they want to know about, one of their major concerns is confidentiality. I don't want anybody to know that I'm selling my business. I don't want my employees to know that I'm selling my business. And we go through that confidentiality process as well. And those are probably the two biggest things that we get asked by sellers is, how are you going to keep my business confidential? And once my business is sold, what's that process going to look like? What am I going to need to be prepared for? We do a lot of work with them when it comes to their financials, making sure their financials are clean and easily understandable. We go through in finding value in their business through ad backs. A lot of people nowadays run a lot of things through their businesses. They run personal cars, they run meals, they run vacations, things like that. Those are all added values that a lot of times owners don't know that is a value to their business that someone else can have. So we go through that process as well in explaining to them how we get to that valuation. So those are probably the three biggest questions of confidentiality, how do you do your evaluation, and what's the process going to look like once someone wants to buy my business and we've entered into a contract.
Great insight. Greg, what inspired you to get into this business and become a business intermediary? How did you get started? You have so much knowledge. I'm curious, what got you into it?
Um, I'm one of those people. I'm 42. I'm one of those people that have had a couple different careers. So I actually started out in the educational field. I was a teacher for 5 years. Then I got into sales and automotive. I worked for BMW for a decade and just started learning. A gentleman that I interacted with that I met through a club, I started, and actually he's my broker, I started talking to him about what he did. And he was a business broker and started explaining to me kind of what he does and how his business works. And it really um, made me very curious because a lot of the skills and things that I've learned in my previous careers really unknowingly helped prepare me for the career I have now. And I asked him, hey, can I start business brokering with you? And he said, sure. So I started that. Was very blessed, was really banging it out of the park right at the beginning. So had really great years starting off with, and it's continued. I love what I do. It's always got challenges, which I enjoy. Each deal is different. Each client is different. So a lot of what I do is relationship management as well. I always tell people that when someone buys their business, you're going to have to interact with this person for a period of time. So make sure this person is also someone you think you can get along with on a daily basis for anywhere from, let's say, 6 weeks to a year. Because if you don't, it's not going to be a very fun time for you. So I really enjoy the relationship management part. I enjoy working with my clients, whether they're buyers or sellers, because when I'm working with buyers, I'm trying to help them to accomplish a dream that they have of owning their own business. And when it comes to sellers, I'm trying to help them accomplish a dream of retirement of all the hard work they've put into their business. So I've been doing this now for about 5 years, and I love it. It's so much fun every day.
Greg, for folks listening who are in your area that are considering selling their business or somebody looking to buy a business and they'd love to speak with you, how do they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Sure. The best way to connect with us is to go to our website, and our website is sunbeltoflorida.com. So very easy website. You've got our 800 number on there, so you can contact us at any time. If they want to contact me directly, my number is 913-226-7735. We specialize, especially in Southwest Florida, and I've kind of gone over what I specialize in, but we are perfectly capable of selling your business anywhere across the country. I mean, I'm down here in Southwest Florida. The furthest business I've had away is up in Alaska. So, there's people everywhere that want to sell their businesses, and we can take care of you no matter where you are.
Terrific. Greg, this has been great. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed being on with you, Mark, and look forward to seeing you again.
That was Greg Bell with Sunbelt of Naples and Fort Myers. This segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.